Okay, we have Dick Taylor, Mr. Christmas. On the show tonight, Mr. Taylor goes all out for Christmas. Starting just after Halloween, he decorates the inside of his house with 22 different themed Christmas trees. Amazing. He has a large number of nativity scenes, including one he made himself, and has a massive collection of over 600 nutcrackers. So let me ask you about that suit. Can you explain the suit?
Well, my Christmas suit today is one of several that I have. I enjoy the holiday season and I love Christmas, and it's one of those fun things you just have to have sometimes.
How did you get started with the nutcracker collection?
Well, when my son was about 5, we were at a department store, and he saw a little nutcracker on the shelf, and he wanted to get it, and we told him to put it back on the shelf. He didn't need it, and our friends are with us, and they bought it and gave it to him for Christmas, and he was just thrilled with that, and the collection has grown since then over the last 30 years.
How many pieces do you have in your collection?
We have over 600. I kind of quit counting at that point, okay?
Have you visited the Nutcracker Village in Steubenville?
Oh, yes, yes. We go up every year. It's marvelous. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful thing for the city of Steubenville, and it is a great community sponsored event, brings a lot of people into the community, and it just lets people celebrate the holiday season.
Awesome.
I understand you had a tree angel by the name of Angie. How did your family get Angie, and where is she now?
Well, Angie is a tree topper that I had ever since I can remember. It was my grandmother's, and it's made out of Bakelite, and it has been on our tree for years growing up. Angie, one year had a little mishap, and I put a light bulb in her that was just a little too hot, and her head kind of melted a little bit. Since then, my mother was just so upset when that happened, and I ended up finding an exact replica of Angie in an antique store. And so Santa brought it to my mom for Christmas one year, and she's since passed. But I've given the original Angie to my son, and he has decided to place her on his tree, and so she has a prominent place back on a tree again. So we both have an Angie the angel on our tree.
Under one of your trees is a wooden fence. It was given to you from a family friend, as I understand. How old is it, and could you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, the fence under my main tree is probably about 100 and maybe 5 years old. And a dear friend of ours, when I was little growing up, we would go to their house and visit. And I would always admire that fence under the tree. And when her husband passed away and she was downsizing, she called me up one day and said, "I have something for you." So I went to her house, and she told me she couldn't think of anybody else that she wanted to have this fence. And her daddy had made it for her when she was, like, for her first Christmas. And she was 95 when she passed away, and that was probably about 10 to 15 years ago. And so I was very honored that she thought of me, and it's never been painted. It's the original fence, and it gets a place of prominence in the house every year, and I just have all those good memories when I put it up and think of her and her family and good times.
How do you come up with these ideas for all of these trees?
Oh, I have all different kinds of trees, and I have an art degree, so I just see something and it inspires me, and I create a tree around it. So.
Wow. How long do you keep them up? Hold on.
Shall we do that one again?
We'll try that one more time.
Okay.
All right. How long do you keep them up?
I keep them up until at least Epiphany in January, and sometimes maybe even a little longer. Around that time, I start to take them down. I start decorating at the end of October, and by Thanksgiving have everything up so I can enjoy all of them throughout the Christmas season.
Awesome.
You were telling us about your favorite Christmas box.
Oh, the Christmas box. My parents had gotten a portable TV back in the 1950s when they first came out. And it was a Zenith TV box. And oh, it's probably about 2.5 feet square width, length, and height. And it has a picture of a lady in a shirtwaist dress with pearls, and she's pointing to the TV on the side of the box. And that year, my mom decided that it was a nice sized box to put all my grandma's antique, shiny, bright ornaments in it that she's had from the 20s and 30s and 40s. And so that became the Christmas box. And every year when I was little, I would go to the basement in the beginning of December and see that box in the basement, knowing that Christmas was going to be coming along pretty soon, and we could get that box out and start decorating the tree. And so to this day, I still have that same box, and that's what I keep my prized Christmas ornaments in that were my grandmother's. And so it's the Christmas box, and it just has many fond memories to me.
You have a Christmas show at the school coming up. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, certainly. At Corpus Christi School in Moorwood, we will be doing our annual Christmas program. Our 3-year-olds through the 8th grade are in the program, and we have the 3 and 4-year-olds perform. Our handbell chime choirs also will be playing. Our Spanish students that take Spanish will be singing. And then the kindergarten through the 4th grade will be performing a really fun show this year. It's a play called Carol and the Bells, and it's about a Christmas diner in the 1950s.
The K through 4th have prepared a wonderful play about the 1950s, which we are sure you will enjoy.
Good morning, Jed.
Morning, boss. Ready for the big day?
Decorating Big Drive-In Restaurant for Christmas is one of my favorite days of the year.
This drive-in decorated for Christmas makes a year for the whole town.
Then let's get busy.
Songs are hung by the wheel of care.
Welcome to today's History, Upper Ohio Valley. I'm your host, Bob Connors, and guess who's here tonight?
Santa Claus.
Santa Claus is with us again. I'm so happy you're here, Santa.
Well, it's great to see you again, Bob.
Good to see you.
I think you've been a pretty good boy this past year, and
Yeah.
I haven't seen your name on the naughty list, so you keep that up, will you?
I will. I've been working on it.
Okay.
I'm
okay.
encouraged by people to be good, so I've been working at it. I'm going to continue that.
All right, fabulous.
How's Mrs. Claus?
Mrs. Claus is fine. She has been very, very busy, and she has taken up making these bath bombs for the elves.
Oh boy.
And so they really like them, and since they work so hard, we're excited about that, and they make these kits now, so she's busy with that, and she's been doing some baking and all, but she's also been issuing some edicts.
Really?
And she's told me this year what I ought to do is when people leave food for us, and they leave things for us,
Sure.
Cookies and milk and carrots for the reindeer, but can you believe that Mrs. Claus has said to me, Santa, well, you should eat the carrots just like the reindeer.
Well, what do you think? Are you going to try that?
Well, I hate to go against Mrs. Claus's wishes, but I've never turned down a chocolate chip or oatmeal raisin cookie in my life, Bob, and
Neither
I
have
don't
I.
believe I'm going to now. But don't tell Mrs. Claus.
We will not tell Claus. Listen, we're not telling Mrs. Claus about this. This is just our secret.
Absolutely.
Tell me what you've been doing over the last year. You have a whole year between Christmas and Christmas. What does Santa do? What did you do last year?
Well, I mean, it's a very challenging night to deliver all those gifts, and so after Christmas is over, I still visit a few places on Christmas Day. The time changes and everything. So after that, we take about a week off just to rest, and then we kind of do an evaluation of how we did. Back in 1956, we had a breakdown. We almost didn't get the toys delivered.
Ooh.
And so we try to do everything in our power to avoid those kinds of problems. Well, then after that, I send the elves on a fishing trip.
Well, how nice.
Well, they love to fish, and there's a great Arctic wildlife preserve and refuge east of Barrow, Alaska.
Wow.
It was very, pretty calm, and no one's going to see them there, so they have a big time catching salmon.
Isn't that great?
And then June and July, I actually, and Mrs. Claus and I, make it to the beach. So this past year, we actually even stopped at Martin's Ferry at their Strawberry Festival on the way to the Carolina beaches. So
Oh,
I
wow.
try to disguise myself the best I can, but it's sometimes very difficult, Bob.
I would bet it is. How about the elves? Do they stay busy all year long, other than their fishing trip? Do they keep
Well,
working?
they're always looking into the design for new toys. And we just keep adding factories because the boys and girls want so many things. I mean, I have 2 or 3 Legos factories because they have become
Wow.
so popular. So that's been very important. So they're elves, they're designing, and of course I have some elves that aren't as good as others, so we have to send them to re-education training.
Oh my. You just kind of reminded me of something, and that is, do you ever really run out of toys? Have you that ever happened?
Well, as I told you, in 1956, we were challenged, and the Legos craze has put a real tough thing on me. And Barbies, I was at a school today in Union Local, the preschool class, and every girl wanted Barbies. So, if that happens all around the world, I'll be in a challenge. So 56, I think, and that's when a lot of the baby boomers that are older today were being born. So there were a lot of requests, and I don't think we were quite ready for that. But we managed to get all of them a toy.
You mentioned earlier about Mrs. Claus talking about her carrots.
Yes.
And I was going to ask you if she's busy making cookies right now, but is she cooking up some carrots or cookies?
No. She makes cookies,
Does she?
but she suggests I should have a certain level of discipline. Even though that aroma is wafting through the kitchen, I'm
Oh, wow.
supposed to walk by there, Bob, without snatching one to
I see.
sample. But
That's hard to do.
It's absolutely hard to do. But I mean, she has managed to take a few pounds off me, but she said, I don't want you gaining 15 to 20 pounds because she has to redo my clothes, sew me some new clothes. But I sure enjoy that 15 or 20 pound gain.
Well, I bet you do.
I do.
I bet you do. How about the reindeer? Are they ready for their flight coming very soon now? They'll be in the air.
Everybody is in really, really good shape. They take it easy over the summer, and we kind of take care of any nicks or cuts they may get in the travels, and we make sure they're in shape too. I tell the boys and girls, and I've been in the Ohio Valley for a few weeks because I was in the St. Clairsville Parade and Winterfest and Martins Ferry, and they're always asking me about the reindeer, and I say, it's hunting season in the Ohio Valley, and the hunters here are known to be pretty good shots. Ooh. But they have a very difficult time discerning between a white-tailed deer and a reindeer.
Wow.
So I kind of leave the reindeers on the side, and you may see me moving around in ground transportation because I can't afford to lose Dasher or Dancer or Prancer or Vixen.
No.
No, at this time of the year. So, yeah, they're ready. And I've got a bunch of magic dust to get us to the places we need to go.
That is absolutely excellent. There's one other thing I wanted to ask you, Santa. I have a couple of friends, and they've kind of been a little bit naughty, so let's not tell anybody about this conversation.
Okay.
And one of them's name is Pete, and the other one's name is Don.
Okay.
And they've been a little bit naughty, but not too naughty. And I told them that I would put in a good word for them with you, that maybe this year you'd say, well, maybe we'll overlook that naughty this year. What do you think?
Well, we have 6 days to go, and I tell the boys and girls, older and younger, if they've been naughty, but they're really, really good these last 6 days, that can almost overcome any naughtiness they've had in the past.
Oh.
So if you could get the word to Don and Pete, that really, really be good, they could be on the nice list. Now,
wow, that's good to know.
Yeah, one of the things I've really focused on this year is talking to boys and girls about fighting. Because I have noticed some of brothers and sisters and cousins and all have a tendency to fight when they get together. And I've said to them, if you fight, you get fewer gifts. But if you're good, you get more gifts.
Wow.
So that's been my special message to the boys and girls of the Ohio Valley this year. And I hope they listen to what I have to say.
Well, I hope so too. I hope that many of them are listening out here.
Well, I hope so too, because that's very important. Because they'll be sad on Christmas Day if they're fighting now.
And so we don't want to have any fighting. And if you have been a little naughty this year, you have to be good for the next 6 days. You have a chance and opportunity to change your behavior and be good, and then you're going to be on the good list.
Well, that's correct. And some of my older boys and girls, I talk to them about the spirit of giving. Christmas is all about giving.
Yeah, tell me about giving.
Well, and St. Nicholas, the Bishop of Myra, when he was a younger man, he had some wealthy parents. And they passed away with a plague, unfortunately, and they left the money to him. And so he was fond of wearing a red robe. And he would walk around town, and he found out there were people who didn't have money for dowries for their daughters to be married, or didn't have money for things. And he would take some gold coins in a pouch and toss them into the window, and there were stockings, and they would land magically in the stockings.
Wow.
And that's how the start of Christmas, as far as giving by Santa Claus, all began with St. Nicholas through his kindness and his kind spirit. So I always say to people, you get older, you have to understand there are people who need things. So be kind and be giving and give people hope this time of year.
Well, that is absolutely excellent. This has been great, and I hope everybody remembers that, because that's an important thing to know.
Well, I think so. I think it is.
I think we've learned something here.
Absolutely.
So I guess it's time to say Merry Christmas, Santa.
Merry Christmas to you, Bob. All right. So how have you been?
Good.
Cameron, you been good? Yeah, I've been kind of keeping an eye out on you guys. Let's see. You turned 7, and you're 7, and let's see, Cameron, are you 10 already? 11. Oh man, you're growing up fast. And you're all of 4 years old, right? All right. Well, let's see. I know that you're really interested in that Barbie dream house and car. Is that right? And let's see. You play games on your iPad, don't you? So that would be good. Now, did I see you make potions? You do? What do you do with those potions? You don't know? You try to make magical potions and you're not sure exactly what's going on with them? Well, I think we better be careful, just so that we're good with those, okay? Yeah. All right, I like your bells. I remember them from earlier today. All right, and remember, it's time to be helpful for Mama. Now, you have a new brother or sister. Is it a brother or sister coming?
Sister.
A new sister? In February, right? Man, that's going to be something.
February 3rd or
Okay. All right. Now let's see. Let me think what Cameron would like to have this year. It's something red. It's what is it? A red RC truck of some kind. Is that what it is? All right. I think that's really something. I think we have some of those. And let's see. You're an artist, aren't you? Don't you draw the derby cars? You like the demolition derby cars? Yeah, I'm. You know, I take ground transportation because I have to protect the reindeers. So you know, the car I drive is a big Grand Marquis with red stripes on it. You know, you've probably seen those in the derby cars out there, I'll bet. Is that right? So you're good that way. And then I understand you like crafts too? You like making things with your hands? That's good. And wait a minute. Minecraft, right? And you win things and you get dances? You get dances? And let's see. What's your favorite? The floss? How does that go?
Wait, you stand up and you put your knuckles together and then you go left and then right.
Oh my. I know that dance. I was with a young man a little earlier this week, and he was trying to teach me that dance. I wasn't very good at it. I think you have to practice though. So that's your favorite, is it? All right. So you're going to be good, aren't you? You know what I told Layla today, and I told him no fighting with your brother or sister because you get fewer gifts. So can you remember that? Because you don't want fewer gifts, do you? You want more. All right. All right. And Logan, let's see. I think you're looking for a red Jeep with fire striping on the side. Is that right? And then I heard you want a big box so you can make your own truck. Well, how are you going to do that?
I can take other cardboard and make stuff.
Oh, well, maybe you'll be an auto engineer one day and make cars for a living. How would that be?
Good.
I think that would be really special too. And let me think here. Did I read you bake things? Who do you help baking?
Kathy.
Kathy? Okay,
And
that's
she's
really
standing
good.
right there.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait. And then I know Layla, she does things in her kitchen. You bake things in your kitchen? You do? Okay. Well, let's see. Well, baking things is an important deal. And what else is on that list this year?
It was a golden watch.
Oh, was that a golden tone watch? Oh, yes.
Yeah, I can put on my wrist.
So you can put on your wrist and tell time? Or is that a communication device you want?
It's a watch I can put on my wrist so I can just look whenever I want.
Well, I think that's a good idea. That way you don't need a phone.
Yeah.
You can just look at the watch. And let's see.
And last year I heard that you got me one.
Last year you heard I got you one.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. It all depends how good you are. Because I know you're just the perfect age to be fighting with your brother. Right? None of that fighting going on, see? And when you get older like Cameron, you know what becomes important? Getting things is important, but Cameron, when you're that age, giving is important. I was telling Bob earlier that it all started, St. Nicholas started with, he was giving gifts to people less fortunate.
I heard that because when the TV downstairs, we were watching.
Oh, you were watching. So that means that Cameron's big responsibility this year is to go ahead and try to find some people less fortunate than him, and maybe where he can maybe come up with some gifts for them. You think you can do that this year, Cameron?
Yeah.
You do? And then what is on your list, though? What would you like to have this year?
A Cosmo.
A Cosmo robot? Oh my. Those are very, very expensive to make. So you're going to have to be mighty, mighty good to get a Cosmo robot. So I'm going to have to get a good report. So we have 6 days to go. Can everybody make it 6 days?
Yeah.
You can? All right. Well, it's wonderful to see you all again. And I am happy to be here in the Ohio Valley. And let's make sure we help Mama with that laundry, will you? Because I think maybe I saw a little something that you weren't quite as helpful one day with that. But I'm sure you're taking care of that already now, haven't you? You're helping Mommy out. Well, that is just wonderful. All right, guys, it's great to see you. Be good.